This is my personal reflection on Chapter 10. And the prompt reads, describe your reaction in terms of how the reading relates to your own experiences as a researcher. And the first thing I thought was, as a qualitative researcher, I am the instrument. And this is something that we've talked about since last semester in 807. And I think this chapter added, or at least clarified or reminded me of this idea of the external discourses of identity and the internal definition of self. And these things are both at play in terms of me being the instrument. I think that it also reminded me that who I am affects many, many, many things. The topics I choose to research, how I research, my access in terms of who I talk to or what they tell me, in terms of the rapport that I can build with people. So I think that this chapter definitely reminded me of that aspect. I definitely had this feeling of the importance of reflexivity. And when I say to the nth degree, I mean in terms of, I was thinking of the Donnelly study where she was looking at women-only spaces and roller derby. And she was reflecting on her actual physical self and how she felt when she actually participated in roller derby. And I think that that is a whole nother level of reflexivity that I had not considered before. This other thing I was reminded of was that, there is no such thing as objectivity, but subjectivity can still be ethical. And I really like this Freire quote from 383 in the chapter. My abhorrence of neoliberalism helps to explain my legitimate anger when I speak of the injustices to which the ragpickers among humanity are condemned. It also explains my total lack of interest in any pretension of impartiality. I am not impartial or objective, not a fixed observer of facts and happenings. I never was able to be an adherent of the traits that falsely claim impartiality or objectivity. That did not prevent me, however, from holding always a rigorously ethical position. Whoever really observes does so from a given point of view, and this does not necessarily mean that the observer's position is erroneous. It is an error when one becomes dogmatic about one's point of view and ignores the fact that even if one is certain about his or her point of view, it does not mean that one's position is always ethically grounded. And the last thing that I thought about in relation to this chapter is that physical cultural studies, like a lot of qualitative research, is very messy, can definitely put you in uncomfortable positions or make you uncomfortable, can make you vulnerable or make you feel vulnerable, and as pointed out earlier in the chapter, that it's always political. These are my thoughts and my personal reflection on Chapter 10.